new poll shows the idea of building a Redskins Stadium at Potomac Yards is losing ground with the local residents. 50% of the 806 registered voters surveyed by the Mason-Dixon Research Group disapprove of Potomac Yards as a site. 31% like the idea, 19% are undecided. Last June, opposition to the Potomac Yard site was only 46%. The new poll also shows that voters are evenly split over whether Governor Douglas Wilder should call a special session to take up the stadium bond issue. 42% think he should, 41% say no.
City of Alexandria has taken a major step tonight toward halting construction of the proposed new Redskins Stadium at Potomac Yards. The City Council has approved a resolution which recommends an additional 2 to 3 million square feet of Potomac Yards be rezoned for commercial and residential development without the stadium. That would increase the total space available for such development from 9 to about 12 million square feet. State Delegate Bernard Cohen says he thinks this could mark the end of the stadium controversy.
The Virginia retirement system, which owns the Potomac Yards, has gotten a better deal on the zoning, and it'll give Mr. Cooke the opportunity to go back to the mayor of the District of Columbia and get a better deal out of her, and I think there'll be a happy ending to this in the short run.
But supporters argue that without the stadium, the development would not be profitable enough for the state. Still, others expect Governor Doug Wilder to go ahead with his plan to call a special session of the Virginia legislature to press for approval of the new stadium. Good evening, I'm Morris Jones.
And I'm Angela Robinson. It was an impasse that became impassable. Virginia Governor Douglas Wilder and Redskins owner Jack Kent Cooke have called it quits and ended their efforts to move the team to Potomac Yards in Alexandria. But as Channel 5's Ron Gardner reports, what some people see as Virginia's loss could be the district's gain.
July 9th, Virginia Governor Doug Wilder and Redskins owner Jack Kent Cooke announced their plans for a new stadium at Alexandria's Potomac Yards.
We will have that stadium ready for the 1994 season, and nothing is going to stop it.
A long 3 months later, a joint statement from Wilder and Cooke, in which Cooke says, "I now have no further interest in the Potomac Yard site." Virginians had rebelled immediately, saying they didn't want to subsidize a stadium with public funds, and they didn't want the traffic headaches. Several Alexandria city officials led the opposition, and the Wilder-Cooke statement says, "We never anticipated the intensity of the resistance before we could present the facts." From Richmond, Governor Wilder downplayed the significance of the loss.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and I would have loved to have seen, especially in the times when jobs are being lost and the economy down, that we could have attracted and had more opportunities for business development in Virginia. Unfortunately, that's gone.
In Washington, Mayor Sharon Pratt Kelly says D.C.'s efforts to renegotiate a deal with Cooke never stopped and have, in fact, been productive.
As you know, we renegotiated what we thought were terms of a lease that were more in keeping with the standards of the National Football League, and those new terms have been accepted. D.C.
is promoting two options: to spend $75 million renovating the existing stadium or build a new one nearby. So how long this will be the home of the Redskins is still officially up in the air, but Mayor Kelly is saying, as she has said all along, that it's in the best interest of the team, the city, and the region for the Washington Redskins to stay in Washington. The next move is up to Jack Kent Cooke. Ron Gardner, Fox News, Washington.
David beating Goliath. That's how Virginia Congressman James Moran describes the decision not to move the Skins to Virginia. Moran says the cancellation of the deal shows Alexandria residents don't have to accept projects they don't want.
There was really nothing short of removing that stadium that was going to prevent this overwhelming political opposition. And I think Jack Kent Cooke simply realized that he had put his nose into a hornet's nest, and that it wasn't going to die down until he retracted the deal.
Moran added that Governor Wilder should have checked with the people of Alexandria before discussing any deal with Jack Kent Cooke.
The mayor and city council of Alexandria were among those leading the opposition to the stadium deal, and they are ecstatic over today's development. But as Channel 5's John Henrahan reports, some business leaders are not.
Inside Alexandria City Hall, this was the scene as the city's attorney finished reading aloud what amounted to a surrender by the governor and Jack Kent Cooke.
All right.
Residents and politicians had worked for months to convince Virginia legislators to say no to a state-subsidized stadium in their backyard.
I am elated and I think justice has been done. All we were saying, we wanted fairness, and I think fairness has come through.
It's a good lesson, a civic lesson in democracy. You know, when citizens really get involved, they can overcome power and money, and we did it.
The big boys aren't going to win all the time in Virginia anymore, and it's time that there's recognition of that. So good government prevailed in this.
But the business leaders who wanted the state-supported stadium at the old railroad yard think it's an opportunity lost.
I think our business would have been it would really have picked up on the weekends when the games, and just for Alexandria, I think it would have been great for the whole area.
The Alexandria Council, as an olive branch to the owners of the land at Potomac Yard, recently approved a fairly dense development scheme there. Now that the stadium plan is dead, might the council again downzone the tract? The mayor and other city officials say that will not happen. Several of them told me that Alexandria is now morally committed to approve mixed-use development of nearly 12 million square feet in this old railroad yard. So although the stadium proposal has lost, ironically, here at Potomac Yard, the developers have won. In Alexandria, John Henrahan, Fox News.
Many D.C. residents had mixed feelings about a new stadium across the river ever since the plan was proposed. Now that the deal is a no-go, we found that public opinion within the district is still mixed.
It's good that it didn't happen, because that means that we'll still have a team in Washington that we'll be able to cheer on and be able to, hope that they go to the Super Bowl and win another championship for us.
I live in D.C., but I work in Alexandria, and it's close by to my workplace. So that makes it easy for me to go there if I want to see the games. That's for one thing for me why I would like to see it there.
I don't understand the controversy. If I was the mayor, I'd be bending over backwards to keep the stadium here.
I'm not a football fan, and I wasn't paying attention, so I don't really care. I didn't have an opinion.
Absolutely, it should be in D.C. They're D.C. Redskins. And I suppose Virginia shares them a little bit, but they should be in D.C.
Redskins head coach Joe Gibbs and his players had their minds more on Philadelphia than Alexandria today. But the coach did express some disappointment for his boss.
I'm sorry that if it's not going to go through. I thought Mr. Cooke, hopefully I was hoping it was going to work out for him.
I really don't have any reaction. To be honest with you, I'm not really concerned with that. I'm concerned with wins and losses of the Redskins and how we do against the Philadelphia Eagles.
The coaches and players said they love to have a new, larger stadium, but also have a definite attachment to RFK, where they have been so successful over the years.
Still to come on the 10 o'clock news, some high-level digging into Bill Clinton's background. Is there a connection to the Bush quail campaign?
Also ahead, White House woes, why some Bush backers are starting to back off.